Hey guys, JHoyt here. Before this video gets started, I just want to say thank you to everyone that's been subscribing recently. I've been seeing you guys hit that subscribe button, but for all those people that haven't yet or are brand new to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on those notifications so you never miss an upload. You can always change your mind later. I know we've had a lot of Call of Duty recently, but here we are back on NHL. What's going on, guys? JHoyt back with you today. Welcome back to episode number 11 of our franchise mode with the Detroit Red Wings. Now, if you've missed the last couple of episodes, you're gonna wonder what the heck is going on. So we currently sit in a not so great spot, but could be a good spot. You know, if we changed around like one stretch of games here. So we sit down in 7th place in our division. But the good news is we're only 5 points out of, what is that, 4th place. So that's only a couple of games, like 2 good wins against some maybe lesser opponents, and we're right back into the race. So I don't want to, get rid of our team and rebuild and anything anymore, right? We're trying to get to that point where we want to compete every single year. And in that case, and especially being this year, has brought a lot of challenges to our squad. And last episode, I said, we're going to change around some lines, change around some strategies, and hopefully that will fix our future endeavors here in this season, right? So we still technically have a chance for playoffs. If we go on a good set of games, we could get right back up there. We're most certainly still in the race. But here's the thing. We have a lot of older players on our team, mainly in our middle to, I guess, in our bottom 9 forwards. Defense is kind of younger-ish with a couple of 1 or 2 that are not young. And if we do get towards a trade deadline and we're not in a good spot and we don't think we can make it to the playoffs, or we're definitely going to be out, then we're going to start selling off some of those players and potentially people that are UFAs this year or RFAs that we're probably not going to be able to re-sign. We're going to try to get something back for them. So, but that's not the deal right now, though. We're still in a good spot. We're still looking for playoffs, and we have changed around some lines. So let's go show you guys the new lines, and we even had a call-up. So the lines look a little bit different. So what we did is actually a lot. So we kept, I believe, the first line intact with Mantha, Larkin, and Raymond. I believe, like I said, that line was together. Maybe it was changed in the last episode, but we'll put those guys back together. Now, our second line has changed. I think we brought up Bertuzzi to this second line. Shane Wright is going to be moving up to that second line, and Toffoli is going to be on that second line right wing spot. So, why did I move Bergeron down? Well, it's not for the lack of performance, but I just want to test something out, right? Can Shane Wright take that next step? Can he produce some more offense? Not playing in a third line role. We need more offense. We need better defense. So hopefully moving Bergeron down helps that. So then Zadina slots down that third line with Bergeron, and then Svechnikov is down there as well. And you may be wondering, where's Joe Veleno? Where's Rasmussen? Both those guys we sent down to the AHL just to get, more playing time, basically, right? Rasmussen has been struggling for a while, and, we were right on the cusp of trading him, and in a big trade that never ended up going through. And, obviously he's still young. He's, I think, 24 or 25. And I want to give him a chance. But for right now, with our team, he's not really fitting in. He's not performing. And, hopefully he can go down to the AHL and do better than what he's doing. But that leaves us with Ryan Hartman, Joe Pavelski, and Tyler Bozak as our fourth line. So we added in some more veteran presence. We added in some better people that are better defensively. And, obviously we send down a couple of struggling young players. So this should be our roster, at least till the trade deadline, unless obviously something comes up, but I don't have anything planned right now. But over on the back end, looks a little bit different. So we actually end up signing Jake Gardner, I think, in last episode for super cheap. And I did offer, or I should say, we also did offer some people that are expiring some new contracts going forward. But Jake Gardner is going to make his debut. He fits our lines perfectly all throughout, so we can move him anywhere we really need to. We move Ekholm to the right side, and we take out Hronek, who is struggling big time. So with our defense, obviously we have Seider, we have Mann, two good young right defensemen. I don't feel like it was right to bring up Mann right now since he's doing so well in the AHL. But we also have a lot of NHL defensemen that I would like to, try to incorporate if some of these players aren't doing well. So maybe if Seider starts to not really perform the rest of the year, maybe we send him down. Maybe we add, Hronek back into the lineup, or we add Hayek or anyone else that we really want to put in there. But Jake Gardner going to make his debut on the third line. I don't think we have him in much else, but he'll be there for now. We still have the same two goalies. That's no question there. So yes, as I said earlier, down in the AHL, Rasmussen and Veleno and the rest of our guys are all down here. Hopefully they will do something more than what they were doing up in the NHL, because they just were not performing. So those guys are down there, and as we look down here as well, Ted Mann, 31 points, 34 games, great plus minus, getting lots of playing time, and even with not fitting the scheme down there pretty well, he's still performing. So I'd like to keep him down there because, our HL team is doing quite well. And, the really good season under him could only benefit him. So we have tons of NHL defensemen, but I want to keep these guys intact, at least for right now. Obviously, Shane Wright was doing pretty well in his own right, pun intended. And obviously, I want to give him a shot to try to, produce more of an offensive role. So that's where we're going to start off with in today's video. We're going to get up to the trade deadline and see where we sit, see if we want to make that run or try to sell off some of our pending UFAs. And like I said earlier, we did offer some guys some contract extensions, mainly guys that I know we're going to want, or, obviously big names that we're going to want, and some RFAs. So if you guys see some re-signees popping up, that will be it, and it should happen within the next week or so, because I just did it. So you should see that coming up. So Jake Gardner was one of them. Georgiev, I think I offered 1 or 2 more years, but also could be traded at the deadline depending on what we're gonna be. And Rasmussen doesn't want one. Seider doesn't want one. That's kind of surprising. A couple other young guys. And I think that might have been everyone there. So a couple of wins to start out today's video. 3 wins in a row. That's exactly what we wanted. We should be up in that point range that we were talking about before. And other teams are winning as well. So as long as we continue to win, we continue to do well, we'll get to where we want to be and beat those teams that are above us. Only a couple points out from where we want to be. So let's go up to, where's the first 2-day break? I guess it'd be right after that Vegas game. Big wins to start off this video. Only losing 1 every 5 games right now. And it looks like our division is very, very contested. Being everyone but our top team all has 60 through, 60 or 60 or 70 through 60 points, with the exception of the top team and the bottom team. So very contested. It's gonna be another close race, it feels like. So let's go another week here, get closer to the deadline, and this is exactly what we wanted from our team. So it looks to be we're in a 3-way race for that second wild card spot. And 4 straight losses and a big 9-2 loss definitely does not help our case. So let's, get up and past this Pittsburgh game and kind of assess our situation here. So where do we sit right now? Let's go check the full standings and kind of assess where we want to be. So in the Atlantic Division that we are in a, I would say, pretty close race here. So let's just say it, Buffalo, out of the question of catching them. 92 points. I think we need to win out, and they would have to lose probably all of their games in order to get there. So we'll jump down to the second place team, Toronto. So 77 points. That's 11 more than what we have. If we get a good 5-game stretch, we could easily get there. Not easily, but we could get there. But even then, we jumped down 1 more team, Boston, 74 points. That's what, 8 or 10, whatever it is. I'm not very good at math, but reachable, right? A couple of a good stretch of games, and we could easily get there. Again, not easily, but still. So we'll look at the teams right above us. So we're only 4 points away from Tampa, and then we're only, 7 points away from Florida, and we're slowly after that. So I think we can do it. I think we're gonna do it. And I think that's what we're going to go for. So once we look towards the trade deadline here, I feel like we're going to add, but also be cautious about it. And we're not going to completely trade away, good young talent like Vlano or Rasmussen. But we'll see what we can do here at the trade deadline in order to make our team work for the rest of the year in hopes that we can get to the playoffs, barring us completely collapsing. Because we do have a lot of good draft picks as well. And obviously, we can use them as we please. While we work on some bigger trades and see if we can figure them out, we found a sort of minor trade. So we headed over to the St. Louis Blues, and on your screen now is going to be our proposed trade. So we'd be giving up Matthew Strome, who we signed as a free agent that's been playing in the AHL that we're probably not going to re-sign next year, and one of our, I think, 5 fifth-round picks over to St. Louis in exchange for left wing and pending UFA this year, Marcus Johansson. Now, yes, he's not doing too well, but it's only going to help us. And because I say that, he's going to help us on the offensive end, right? He can play those power play. He can play and get points, right? And we're basically going to get him for nothing. So, him having a big contract, it's only for this year. We have tons of cap room, and most likely we're not going to need, tons of cap, especially if we're going to make some bigger deals. So this one, super low risk, but could definitely be high reward. So we've moved the retained salary back up to $2 million. We added in a 7th round pick. Will it go through? And it does. So I will take those types of deals all day long. On to our second trade. And this one, again, doesn't really seem to be a massive trade, but you gotta hear me out. So we're gonna be trading away Evgeny Svechnikov, who was a former first-round pick for us. Finally, he's gonna make his debut this year, and he is doing decent, right? 30 points in 63 games, -2, not bad. But we need more goal scoring. Now, you can put that on a lot of different things, bad defense, and our goalie's really not performing, and blah, 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 blah. But in this case, we have a chance to get a proven goal scorer that this year is putting up a ton of points in Phil Kessel. Now, Kessel is a pending UFA, so it'd be basically a rental. So we're going to upgrade this position. Plus, Svechnikov has 1 more year on his contract, and most likely we're going to get a similar result out of him. So again, it gives us a chance to go after something bigger in free agency and potentially fill that role with somebody different, especially when Toffoli is a pending UFA this year as well. So we don't know if we're going to re-sign him just yet. Again, that's a conversation to be had later. But for right now, we're not going to trade him unless we can find some kind of good investment into someone younger and better, and maybe has another year or 2 on their contract, or is even signed for longer. But in this case, we're going to be trading away Svechnikov and one of our prospects that is already 20 years old and is only like a mid-60s overall pick. He does have some decent trade value on him. And again, you got to give up something to get something. So we'll be getting Kessel and potentially a 2nd round pick if it goes through. It looks to be a little bit more on Arizona's side, but it doesn't. So we'll have to trade a different pick from Arizona, potentially a couple of 3rds. How about a 3rd and a 4th? There it is. We got him. Phil Kessel. So the final trade was Svechnikov and that prospect for Kessel, a 3rd and a 4th. So we end up getting 2 picks. Unfortunately, they're not till next year, but either way, we got our guy. So our second trade is on your screen now, and you might be wondering, why would you get rid of Ekholm? Doesn't he fit your team perfectly? Well, he does, but here's the thing. Going into this offseason, we're going to make a big impact, right? Whether it's trades or whether we're going to go after some big names, that's going to be this offseason. And unfortunately, he does have another year at that $5 million contract. and we're playing him on the third line. So he's not really going to help our team out going in the future. I mean, yes, he has, some points. He's significantly minus, but also so is the rest of our defensive core. So we have some other guys I want to throw in there. And obviously with Gardner just coming in and playing super well, that I want to give him that chance to do so. Plus, I did go to find a trade for Ekholm. And throughout the large, I think it was like 20 or something offers I got, I kind of narrowed it down to about 5. And one of them was the one on your screen, a third and a fourth. There was a lot of third and like a random defenseman. There was some random defenseman and like a 5th round pick. And, I figured if we're going to get another defenseman, I kind of need a right-hander if anything. But those players would just kind of go for nothing in the offseason. I'd just be left with that pick. So in this case, we're going to get 2 picks. We're going to get a 3rd round pick next year, plus a 4th round pick this year, and it opens up a roster spot. So Vancouver wants the extra depth defenseman. We'll more than happily take those 2 draft picks. And since this is what they offered us, it should go through first try here. And we did take Ekholm out of the lineup anyway. So that's just one of the possibly many trades we're going to make today. Let's go on to the next one. We got another trade offer here from Chicago. They want Tyler Bozak for a 4th round pick. And actually, since we took Bozak out of the lineup, since he wasn't performing, it only makes perfect sense to get rid of him. So we're still waiting on that big trade, but at least something's headed in the right direction. Accept this trade. Here we are with our next trade, and this one is going to be getting rid of a couple of guys that we were probably not going to re-sign anyway. Unfortunately, the time has come for Hronek to leave us. Now, he had been struggling for, I don't want to say a while, but how old he is. He's 26. He was like rarely ever better than an 83. And, although he is listed as a top 4 defenseman with top 4 potential, since we've gotten, he's done kind of average. And then, once we had Seider, once we got Timmins, once we drafted Mann, eventually he was going to, work himself out of the lineup. And eventually probably, either as a free agent or, traded to another team. And unfortunately, that time has come. In this trade, along with Hronek, is going to be one of our AHL guys that we're not going to re-sign either. And then, so the original trade from this was a 3rd and a 4th for Hronek. Well, then I was like, well, what if we throw in Stenlund, who's in the AHL? Like I said, we're not going to re-sign him. And then they also have Shane Bowers, formerly of Ottawa, now over on this squad. That's he's scratched, right? He's not even in the lineup. And so we get a younger 79 overall, 24-year-old centerman that might turn into something for us. So we're giving up what they originally wanted, plus just kind of like a 1-for-1 almost pair of 4th liners basically. So we'll let this go through. They rejected it. So maybe we adjust this 4th round pick. Maybe we add in a 5th. Will a 6th rounder do it? There it is. So let's go fix our lineup and see where everyone fits in. So here we are with our next trade. And I know I said that I didn't want to, make a ton of trades and, trade away a lot of players, but this one, it has to be done now, unfortunately. So as you can see on your screen, we are offering up Jordan Binnington, right? The one player we were very excited to get, what was it, a couple of years ago now. And he just hasn't really performed, honestly. Like, let's go look at his stats quick and I'll show you. So this year, obviously, he's not doing great. And last year was kind of his only good year with us. But since, he's been average, right? He's been really, really average. So we have Georgiev now. We have him for another year. We also have Binnington for another year. But I don't really see our goaltender situation getting any better. And, Georgiev is, 28, I believe, and he's the same overall as Binnington. So, we still have a good goaltender, but this is going to help us, I think, for the long run. So, looking over on the other side, Columbus is going to be given up. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. I know you can't even read it, but Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, whatever it is. I think he's Finnish probably. But 88 overall, as you can see just underneath me here. 88 overall, 24 years old, 6'4", elite goaltender, elite medium goaltender. He actually doesn't have a crazy amount of trade value, and he's expiring this year. No extension on his deal. And like I said earlier, if we were going to make a big trade, it needs to be now. And obviously we're going to have to re-sign him, but that's no problem, right? If he can be the goaltender of the future, it doesn't matter. So we're also throwing a second-round pick on our side for a third-round pick on their side. Most likely that won't go through like that, but let's check it out. And yeah, no, I didn't really think it would, but let's just go check to see what draft picks will go through. So just a second-round pick from our side goes into the deal with Binnington, and we get him. We get Luukkonen, whatever the heck his name is. We'll figure out how to say it later on. But we got our big trade. Now's the time for the rest of the year to make that playoff push. So following that flurry of trades, this is how we're looking going after the trade deadline. So after we pick up Phil the Thrill Kessel, he's going to jump up to our top line. We're going to move Raymond down to that second line to play with Wright and Bertuzzi. Toffoli then drops down to the third line. Then we have Johansson in on our fourth line after we traded Bozak. Then over on the defensive side, I think nothing really has changed other than we have brought up our prodigy, our Ted-man draft pick. Gardner stays in the lineup. And of course, the biggest trade out of all of them, Luukkonen, I'm going to go Luukkonen, is now our starting goaltender going forward. So I'm super excited, very happy with the trades that we made. But now's the time to make all of that worth it. Let's make the Stanley Cup playoffs. Let's start the playoff push, right? We're going to have to keep an eye down in the bottom of those standings. And I actually didn't want to go to the date that I had set. So let's go down to like the 28th. So that way we still have a little bit left in the season just so we know where we sit. So I'm keeping an eye on that bottom right. And yeah, our last 10 has not been good for us. As just on the screen, I can see we lost 6 games in a row. So obviously, I don't want to blame it on our roster moves, but yeah, something didn't happen there. So we currently sit bottom of our division, 71 points, and yeah, I think our chances are out. So what do we have to be at? 90 points? Yeah, we're not even close. So let's continue out the rest of the year. You know, unfortunately, those moves don't pay off for us in the short term, but at least with our new goaltender and, you know, a couple of those trades, hopefully will set us up for the future. You know, we got some guys, some playing time this year. You know, Veleno, Rasmussen, we're going to try again next year after we probably move on from some of our older guys. On the back end, everyone I would assume would stay. And we'll continue on with that. So yeah, 76 points to end out the year. Not what we wanted. But of course, let's do our end of season recap here. So it was a big point pretty much all year long, as defensively we just were not good enough. So Kessel comes in. He ends up being our leader in points. Larkin with a huge down year for him. Mantha with a down year. You know, we had a very promising start to his career with Shane Wright, 66 points. Right, he earned up to that second line spot. And, you know, obviously that's going to be our number 2 center, or even number 1, depending on what happens with Larkin. But those two are going to be our 1A, 1B centermen going forward. So great showing out of them. Bertuzzi had a rebound year this year. Raymond with a down year. I mean, pretty much everyone with a down year. I mean, why repeat it a million times? Everyone with a down year this year. And just not the greatest of showing, you know, in the very limited games we saw from some of our players, you know, obviously not what we wanted to see as an end result. Some points out of Man, but overall just minus. Obviously, we didn't get to see much of Luukkonen, but 2-10, not what we wanted. So hopefully next year will be a new year. We'll be going forward with most likely both of them. And hopefully next year, you know, one of them will secure that spot as the #1 starter, because both those guys will be in contention, you know, for that spot. We'll take a quick look down the AHL. And yeah, Lucas Dostal, probably could have brought him up. Maybe he would have been a difference maker, but, you know, having such high caliber goaltenders, even with the, you know, with neither of them really performing too well, you know, obviously I wanted to keep the AHL team intact since they're doing so well. Jan Bednar was playing pretty well down there. You know, obviously both those goaltenders were on the back end. You know, obviously lots of guys making some impacts, which is good. And then I believe, yeah, Rasmussen, more than a point per game down there. Huge performance from him. I believe Veleno wasn't far behind. And actually, he dropped off significantly towards the end of the year. So he was very close to point per game. But Rasmussen, that's very encouraging to see. Hopefully, he can bring that momentum into next year. But let's go check out the team stats and then wrap up the video. So we finish bottom 3 in the league with 76 points. 34, 40, and 8 is our record. Not good there. 250 goals for 311 goals against. So, you know, we're not scoring enough, and we're allowing too many goals. So power play percentage, that actually looked to be pretty decent. So that's in the top half, somewhere there. What about penalty kill percentage? We're probably at the bottom. I didn't actually see what ours were, but let's go find us, see what the home record was. The home record was a little bit improved from last year, but both of them just not good. Our last 10 wasn't great either. So lots to look forward to in this off season. You know, we keep going from a bubble team to out, bubble team to out. So this has got to be the year we make a big splash. It's got to be the year that we start being in the playoffs consistently, and it's got to be the year that we make it past that second round. But with all that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching episode number 11 of our franchise mode here with the Detroit Red Wings. If you did enjoy, make sure to hit that like button down below. Comment below what you want to see in this franchise mode next, what moves we should make, any suggestions you have. Make sure to leave that down in the comments section. And if you haven't yet, or if you're brand new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications so you never miss an upload. And always remember, you can change your mind later. But with all that being said, guys, see you in the next one.